The next second, the door flew open. I pulled out a fire extinguisher and sprayed them, and everyone dropped instantly. I ran out, ripped a handgun from a cop's holster, smashed the security cameras along the way, and got away. I was trained as a top operative by an organization in the former Soviet Union. To hurt America, the group sent me in as a spy. To win America's trust, I carried out several extremely dangerous missions, made major contributions, and eventually I became an agent in the CIA. During those hard years, I met a man who truly loved me. His sincerity moved me, and we married quickly. Because of my past work, I no longer had to run around. I even had an office inside the CIA building, and I lived a relatively easy, happy life. Then, that day, a Russian officer defected to the CIA, and I was assigned to interrogate him. I never expected him to expose me as a spy on the spot, and to claim I planned to assassinate the Russian president at the U.S. vice president's funeral 2 days from now. The supervisors waiting outside the interrogation room were stunned, and to be safe, they brought me into the room. While the two chiefs argued over who should question me, the Russian suddenly attacked, killing 2 officers beside him with a blade hidden in his shoe. The 2 supervisors outside were quickly called away, and I saw my chance and moved. By then, the bosses were in the surveillance room and learned the officer had escaped the CIA building. When they ordered a manhunt, they found I'd slipped out as well. The building went into full lockdown because of the officer, so I dropped into the service tunnels and reached an empty area on the 2nd floor. Once they realized, they started sealing off my escape routes. Trapped on the 2nd floor, I set off the rocket launcher blast I used at the start, knocked out the FBI who came for me, and then got away. I rushed home, but my husband was gone. I knew he had been taken. The FBI had already arrived. I grabbed my gear to run, but the FBI busted the door, tossed in a stun grenade, and poured in, only to find I was already gone. A supervisor leaned to the window and saw me outside, but I ducked into an air conditioning unit and avoided them. When he saw the flat rooftop of the neighboring buildings, he eased off. I kept moving, climbed to the neighbor's window, and a little girl doing homework spotted me and, curious, let me inside. Just as I was about to leave, I was spotted by the supervisor and a chase started again. This time I wasn't so lucky. FBI swarmed and pinned me down. At the critical moment, I seized my shot, jumped off the bridge, landed on a moving truck, and finally shook them. I stole a motorcycle and rode off. I checked into a hotel to regroup. The church next door was the site of the vice president's funeral the next day. Yes, I really was planning to assassinate the Russian president. I began tuning my gear, and soon weapons and explosives filled the whole bed. I pulled out a vial of spider venom, studied the church's structure, and dyed my hair black. The next day, the vice president's funeral began, and the Russian president arrived. I hid in the crowd, and when I saw him, I moved. The funeral was underway, and U.S. and Russian officials were in place. I reached the church basement through the sewer system, just as the basement patrol came on. The next second, I burst out and quickly took out 2 men. With the Russian president about to speak, I fought my way up. Security noticed something in the basement and sent teams to check, but I had already reached the 1st floor. Facing the guards there, I booted a pistol out of someone's hand with a flying kick, broke one guard's wrist, and dropped him with an elbow. Another guard came at me, so I grabbed the pistol and, at close range, shot him silent. Then I shot the sound system, and a piercing racket filled the room, drawing more guards and throwing the scene into chaos. I threw a bomb at the ceiling, it detonated the next second, and everyone panicked. The floor under the Russian president split open and he fell through, landing right next to me. Other U.S. officials